Yeah, I mean, when you look at their their PFF scores, some of these guys were stellar, and any grade, I believe, over a 60 is really good. I mean, the 50s are okay. Uh,
Mm.
when you get into the 70s and the 80s, you are playing lights out. And to have someone have a PFF score of a 90, I don't think I've ever seen that. And that was Jordan Scruggs, the cornerback.
Hmm.
So, I'm going to go through some of the guys that really, you would think like Reed Carico at linebacker always has a great outing, and he had a 69.8, and that stands out. But Brandon Siders had a 72. Jamori had a 68.8. He's been on milk cartons. Like where's Jamori? While you're eating your Cheerios in the morning, you're reading the milk carton like, oh, Jamori's missing. We got to find him. Uh, Asani Redwood, defensive lineman. Another one, Devin Grant. Asani Redwood had a 76. Grant had a 79. Those are phenomenal scores. When you just go to the offense, you think Scotty Fox would have an 80. No, he had a 70.1. So when you have a score that's that high with Devin Grant at defensive line and Asani Redwood at 76, and because on defensive line it's hard to kind of think to yourself, how are they getting graded? How are they doing that? When you look at the score of a Scotty Fox or a Diori Hubbard that's like a 74 and a 70, that kind of is a way to calibrate that, because Scotty Fox is our number one. He definitely, 4 weeks ago, we're like, we need to have a quarterback emerge. Well, this guy has came out of the cocoon, and he is just he's turned into a freaking Division 1 butterfly at quarterback, Scotty Fox. But
A power four quarterback.
there you go, perfect. And now the three-headed monster they had in the backfield of Ash, Hubbard, and Bowers. I mean, they all had decent scores, but Rodney Gallagher the third had a good game. This is probably his best game he's had. I think he played a little better than Weimer or Vaughn, but even Fox, Weimer, and Vaughn played pretty good. I'm trying to think anybody else I'm missing. Justin Smith Brown, he had a play or two, but moving on, I think this is really give a lot more credit to the coaching staff
Hmm.
for building these kids up and not tearing them down, because you heard Rich Rod in the post game say to the kids, listen guys, the outside noise, you didn't listen to it, because they all hear. You can't turn on a YouTube show that has the West Virginia, anything about West Virginia, whether it's our channel, whether it's Frank Fear here, and Greg and Coach Chris, uh, or if you have, the Locked On Mountaineer Paul, Coos, all those guys, Jersey Ears. You can't do a show without being a little negative after getting the shit stomped out of you for weeks upon weeks. It's hard. It's hard. And that, you know, these kids hear it on social media. So Rich Rod saying what he said, he was kind of, without saying it during the week, say, hey guys, focus on what you need to do, what your job is. Outside noise is outside noise, without saying, these guys are talking shit about you. Hey, this is the opportunity we have this week. I know you guys can, if you know your assignment, you do your job, he does his job, we're going to beat this team. He believed it. They believed it, and they actually made it happen. So let's see what Jersey Ear says and Afton. Afton, yeah, they don't get the milk carton reference. Yes, Afton, I know, but most of our people that watch are old and stupid like we are. So, but yeah, Afton, you're not old, but you work. I think Afton, you still work in a library, right? So she's around newspapers and learned people and leather-bound books that smell like knowledge. But Jersey Ear, Rich Rod's locker room show had me ready to run through a wall. Yeah, Rich Rod can motivate a rock to jump. Absolutely. But Eric, after I went down my rabbit hole about Rich Rod motivational speeches, blowing sunshine up these football players' skirts, what are some thoughts you have? Like from 3 weeks ago to literally like the Death Valley, the lowest freaking elevation you could have as a football program, to literally we're at what's a good high point in West Virginia? What's a good mountain? Spruce Knob.
Spruce Knob.
Yeah, Spruce Knob.
Okay,
We're almost to
we'll go
Spruce
there.
Knob, you know.
So it's been about a month, and we were saying, there's a lot of criticism. There was a lot of hate being thrown at Rich and the program, and we said, no, wait a second. There's only so much you can do. What else could he be doing to improve the team? Right now, the program for the future, without throwing us into unnecessary risk. And we thought he was doing pretty good things. Look at this performance and even last week's performance. And like you said, going back to about a month ago where things were really rough, and you've seen a steady progression. And in particular, he's moved some players around. We've seen the advent of the running game show up this game. And just as, kind of like a metric, something you can actually measure. Yeah, thanks. Because you have seen improvement, but that's like saying, are you really getting better, or are other teams getting worse? No, we are getting better. And the two things, it's been since what did we say, 2018, since we beat a ranked opponent. So that's big.
This isn't the fastest lap in a baby pool. This is a team that was 7-1, kids.
Yeah. So, and they were a 7-1 team that was fundamentally sound. So the fact that we were turning them over, that's not something to overlook. The other thing is that we beat them on the road when they were playing under an inspired circumstance.
Yeah.
There's a lot to say there. The final thing I'll say on this, we didn't go through Houston's PFF scores, but when I was doing a little research, we beat them solidly on the PFF scores. Most of our scores were much higher than theirs. But they weren't like playing, like you said, they didn't come out with scores in the 50s. Their scores were solidly in the 70s. We had a bunch that were in the high 70s, and we had a few that were higher. So again, with something measurable, this team has gotten better and we're playing better, and they put it on the field at a key time to come away with a great win. Now, look, it's not a Big 12 championship. It's not gonna, it isn't the end all game, but it is something to build on. And the nice thing is that people are starting to believe, maybe there is something here, because like you said, we're facing an opponent that is they're 3-5.
Same record as West Virginia. I mean, they're literally when you look at the stats, like points against, points for, it's almost a mirror image of the Mountaineers. Other than the fact that West Virginia beat a good Pitt, I'm going to say good Pitt team. Let me like
sure.
watch
Pitt. Oh yeah, but definitely.
No, so we talked last week, and we were like, I might sound crazy. You guys might think I'm not. I think West Virginia's going to upset somebody. They're going to upset somebody. And you said, I think this is the team they upset. Myself, I was thinking it's going to be Colorado. Okay. I thought Colorado was ripe for the plucking, coming into Morgantown, atmosphere, build on the TCU success, which was a loss. I thought they'd play well, but maybe come up short. Still moving in the right direction. I didn't anticipate them making the steps they did on defense, and the passing, the pass blocking was fantastic. Giving him time to make some plays, opened up the running game. But Colorado is, I still think is one that they can win. Now, I'm going to share this. Last week, West Virginia, I think, had an 18.9% chance. Okay. 18.9% chance. Now, the win probability has went to 67.7% for the Mountaineers. Okay. So let's get real crazy here. Let's just go with these stats. West Virginia beats Colorado and Dion, Coach Prime. You have two really good teams in Arizona State and Texas Tech. You're going to have, like we talked about, opportunity for national recognition to put the spotlight on the Mountaineers because they might change that, flex those games to a time that's more optimal for eyeballs. Hey, Jackson, how you doing? Jackson's always on with Mountaineer Paul a couple times a week. And he has an Alabama channel that's fantastic. So if you're you don't have to be a West Virginia fan. If you're an Alabama fan or just maybe a closet Alabama fan, just check him out because he is so knowledgeable about college football. But you went from no chance, to maybe there's a chance to literally, Eric, I think I might have to check myself into like the loony bin because I think West Virginia, Rich Rod's crazy enough. I'm crazy enough to believe it. What if? And what am I saying, Eric, is what if they win these last 4 games?
Ooh, easy, Cowboy.
Or 3 of the 4. 3 of the 4, you're not bowl eligible, but that is momentum going into the next year. Because my biggest fear, Eric, was West Virginia just a flat, cold, dead fish for recruiting. You walk in the room, you're like, what is that smell? It looks great here, but there's an odor. No, it's not losing. West Virginia's winning. And these kids believe it. I believe it. I want recruits to believe it. Because guess what? The pocketbooks are opening up. I know he's calling Pat McAfee for a little bit of money here and there, for a little spending money I'm going to the movies, Pat Mac. Can you give me $20? No, it's not quite like that, Dad, but you know what I'm talking about.
Well, absolutely. It
pop up, get some players, because guess what? Kids want to ball out now for Rich Rod. Colorado's going to lose. Arizona State's going to be a close one. Texas Tech's going to be competitive. They can win these games. I am watching these games with not like this, like it's a slasher movie. I'm watching someone's intestines get rolled on the floor. It's like, oh my gosh, what just happened? Sorry, Eric. I don't even know how people watch this. I'm so freaking all over the god darn place.
So I love the enthusiasm, buddy. I just want to see us one game at a time. If we can pull off a win here against Colorado, that's going to be a great headline. Coach Rod beats Coach Prime. That in itself is going to be very helpful for the recruiting. The notion, see, we talked about this previously. If you're a school like in Alabama, where, look, yeah, we sneeze wins around here. Who doesn't want to go play at a school like that? But the next best thing for recruits is that you come into a program that's right on the cusp, right on the edge of turning the corner and becoming that winning program. And you play a prime role in it. And I think we're seeing that. And so we're still missing some pieces. We could still benefit from a number of key players. So I think that's going to help. Something else that's I'm just going to say it. I hate talking dollars, but we know we have some players that aren't going to be coming back next year, whether they're graduating or they've already entered the transfer portal, and that's okay. I wish them well. But that's freeing up NIL opportunities for incoming recruits. So you get the fact that you've got some money becoming available next year. You've got some positive life, like you're saying, in the performance, not just the potential. That's another, great win for us on the recruiting side. Plus, you know, Rich is starting to get some of his swagger back.
He
You know,
is.
he
He
had
is.
it
He was
back.
down on himself, Eric. You could tell he looked like I don't know what to do. Like it was just too much, and I felt bad for him. Because when you're young and you doubt yourself, it's just you can just say I'm inexperienced. I'm gonna learn. But when you're older and doubt yourself, it's a lot harder.
Well, he's mentioned that in post game conferences where he's like, I thought we had a good week of practice. And
Right.
I've heard that from so many coaches. And I think, anybody, I don't care if you coach youth sports, I don't care if you coach professional level. You can see that where teams will have a good practice, before a game, and that for some reason, come game time, they fall apart. And that happens. But I think we've got a lot of things moving forward. We've got a lot here that we can build on for the future. And Rich talked about instilling um, values in the program, and we're doing that. He's doing it. We're seeing it. We're seeing players emerge that, quite honestly, you give them 2, 3 years. If we can keep them, which I think we can,
Mhm.
this is kind of the beginning. This is that 2002 season where you started seeing people start to make a turn. And a lot of those players that were there for 2002, 2003, guess what? The 2005, even into the 2007 season, those were your anchors. Those were the players that you became your foundation. And that's what we're looking for right now.